Okay, all right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for registering for this webinar and joining us today. And thank you for taking out this time, 1 hour time, to participate in this webinar. I know there are people who are joining from different places, different locations. Right now, we have a few members, but I believe as soon as we start the session, other members would be joining us soon. So this particular webinar is on designing inclusive and safe learning spaces, choosing the right resources for every child. So we have schools, we have classrooms. We all believe that the primary responsibility and the primary responsibility of the school is to transform that classroom, those four walls, into a engaging and effective learning environment. So as we begin the academic year, the moment we start teaching them syllabus, the subjects, the different topics, and there are different curricular and extracurricular activities. But the little emphasis, is given to transforming the classroom into an effective learning environment. So here in this session, we are going to understand few important factors, important aspects of what that learning environment is. And then I'll also give you some strategies, some tools, so that you can understand how am I going to implement these strategies at my school and transform my classroom, those four walls, into a learning environment. So before I start the session, this is the first part. I always do this, and I always want all the members to do this. So I'm introducing myself. I'm Amjad Rizal. I work at Keystone Center for Innovation and Teacher Education as a head of research and programs. And this particular organization is in Hyderabad. So we conduct these webinars completely free for teachers on a regular basis. So today is the 7th webinar for us, and we have been doing this consistently from the last one and a half, 2 months. So the beauty of this webinar is, in all the other webinars, you get a lot of knowledge information, but in this webinar, in our series, you not only get knowledge information, but you'll also get the chance to interact with us. So I'm going to tell you how we're going to use that opportunity and interact with us and ask any question that you have. So now I would ask the members to introduce themselves. So please use your full name, mention your full name, the name of the organization you work for, and where you're joining us from.
I'm Janardhan from Bangalore. I'm pursuing my master's in yoga therapy from Yesvasa University. Currently, I'm doing a research work on neurodivergent children into schools in Bangalore.
Thank you, Mr. Janardhan. I request all the other members now to please use the chat, mention your full name, the name of the organization you work for, and also where you're joining us from. We have 24 members now. Please use the chat, mention your name, the name of the organization, and where you're joining us from. So yeah, people started. Thank you so much. Ms. Neelam Kumar from New Delhi. Thank you and welcome to the session. S. Anur Selvi from Nava International School, Muthu. Thank you and welcome to the session. We have, good evening. We have Abhilasha Sharma from Capital Public School, Bangalore. Thank you and welcome to the session. Mr. Satya from Keystone International School, Hyderabad. Welcome to the session, Mr. Satya. Ms. Kiran from Indo-British Global School, Pune. Thank you and welcome to the session. Abhinaya Krishnan from Chennai, from Ramana Vidyalaya in Chennai. Yeah, thank you and welcome to the session. Sayyida Farhat from the Central School, UAE. Oh, wow. So we have participants not just from India, but we have participants from Dubai and other places. Thank you and welcome to the session. Mr. Shaji from United Arab Emirates, UAE, the Central School, Dubai. Thank you and welcome to the session, sir. We have Neelam Kumar. She's the principal at a senior secondary school. I'm not seeing the location, but welcome to the session. Nirmal PR from Ahmednagar, Maharashtra. Thank you and welcome to the session. Mrs. Shiji from KET Public School, Kuttiyadi, Kerala. Thank you and welcome to the session. Varda Zamindar from Crescent English High School, Dubai. Thank you and welcome to the session. So I have seen like 7-8 introductions I need from all the members. So yes. Pushpa Mary from Ramana Vidyalaya School, Chennai. Thank you and welcome to the session. Good evening, Mrs. Ekta Sareen from Bhopal. You're a trainer, you're a counselor. Thank you and welcome to the session. That's it. We have 26 members. I need the introduction from all the other members. Mr. Siddharth from Special Educator from Ramana Vidyalaya School, Chennai. Thank you and welcome to the session. The reason I'm asking to introduce this time is to understand where the participants are joining us. Not only this introduction helps me understand the broader context of where the people are located right now, and it's also between the members also to understand that they're not part of one particular state and joining the webinar, but there are people from different parts of the country. Right now, you saw some people are joining from UAE, some are joining from Bhopal, some Chennai, some Hyderabad, and somebody from Bangalore, and there is one person from Jaipur also. So this is the beauty of this webinar, that using technology we are participating and investing our time, 1 hour time here to understand, to learn something. So all the other members, please come forward. Please introduce yourself in the chat. Mention your full name, the name of the organization, and where you're joining us from. Then we'll move to the next part of this session. Thank you. It's a pleasure. All right, I'll move to the next segment. Meanwhile, if somebody has not introduced themselves, please introduce yourself in the chat. And I see there are other members who are joining right now. So please use the chat to mention your name, the name of the organization, and where you're joining us from. So I'll read and also welcome you to this particular webinar. So all the other members, please do that. Now, there is a webinar setting which we all need to remember. So please keep your microphone on mute, okay, when the presenter is speaking. Use the chat. You have the opportunity to use the chat to ask, clarify anything that you want. I will get the notification, and as soon as I see it, I'll reply to that. Use the hand raise emoji if you have any question and clarify. I'll see those reactions also. Keep your video on if your internet bandwidth is good, and please keep it off if the internet bandwidth is not good. So when you're asked to answer anything or clarify anything, you will get the opportunity to turn on your microphone and talk. So you have to utilize that time also to ask any question, any clarification, and also the feedback, anything that you want to communicate. And yeah, please remember, the beauty, like I said, about these webinars is people who are joining from different places, they also get the time to clarify anything that they want. Now, before I go to the next part, I would ask all the members who have joined right now, please tell me, is this your first webinar, the second webinar, the third webinar, or the fourth webinar? Please use the chat to tell me. We have one more person from AI, Miss Nandini from AIS English Medium School, Kerala. Thank you and welcome to the session. Now, the other members, please use the chat to tell me whether this is your first webinar, the second webinar, the third webinar. First one, second one, first, third, first, second, third. Mine, 12. We have not conducted 12 webinars, Mr. Siddharth. So this is our 7th webinar, first, third. Ms. Sindhu from AIS English Medium School. Thank you and welcome to the session. Cyrilla Mukti Prabha Lobo from Christian School, Christ School, Manipal. Thank you and welcome to the session. So yeah, all the other members who have mentioned first, second, and somebody mentioned fourth, third, thank you for believing in our work. And with consistency, we are hosting these webinars on every Saturday. And I love this fact that you are continuously registering for our webinars, looking forward to our webinars and spending your time here to learn something from us. I believe our webinars, our sessions are giving you some insights, some perspectives, so that you are seeing some kind of a transformation, some kind of a change in your classes, in your teaching, so that you feel value in these webinars and you are here. And the people who are joining for the first time, the people who joined for the fourth time, yes, thank you so much. I'm really, really happy to see this. We have Ritu Khan from Bal Bharati School. Thank you and welcome to the session. And Mini Narayan from Palakkad. Thank you and welcome to the session. All the other members who are joining for the first time, I would definitely do my best to offer you some good insights and perspectives, so that you would also look forward to joining our webinars on every Saturday. And next time, we would ask you also to please request forward our webinar notifications to your friends and to your educators, to your teachers. So that is when, they also get to learn something and from us. So thank you so much, everybody, and for saying these amazing things. I'm really happy. You have really made my day. Now let's move to the next part of this webinar. This is the first thing, and I love this part. In all the webinars with consistency, I ask this. So please, which word describes your feeling, how you're feeling right now? Which word best describes your feeling right now? Energized. Oh, I got it, Mr. Siddha. Thank you so much for saying that. Energized. Out of all these 4 words, which word describes how you're feeling right now? Thank you, Mr. Satya, for saying energized. I'm also getting the energy from you, even though you are sitting poles apart. Energized, curious, curious. I need all the members to please use the chat and let us know how you're feeling right now. It takes a couple of seconds for you to type and send, and I would get your response. Energized. Thank you so much. There are some people who are curious, some people who are energized. Anybody feeling overwhelmed? A lot of work has happened in this week. Now I'm feeling overwhelmed. Or you feel like neutral. There's no such excitement feeling, no such other feeling. Okay, Mr. Dukhan, we would definitely send the webinar certificate to you. We have actually sent the webinar certificates to everybody in the community. So if you have joined our WhatsApp community, you will get the notification. And if you still don't find it, we can reach out to you and we'll give it to you. Neutral. Thank you for saying that. Now, the next thing is, if your mood was an emoji, what would it be? Please use the emoji to tell me. Energized. Thank you. Please use the emoji and tell me if your mood was an emoji, what would it be? You're very happy, you're a little bit sad, you're sleepy, and you're angry. I'm seeing amazing faces. Oh, some said lovely. Wow. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Yeah. Looking at these emojis, you see that I'm also like kind of smiling right now. It is really giving me that energy. And we have already started. This is part of our webinar. Okay, somebody asked when are we starting the session. So we have already started. So this is part of the webinar. Before I start, I do this thing as a first thing. Okay, I ask them emotionally, like how are they feeling right now. So it is very important for me also to understand what your emotions are at the moment, and also the other members also, like how are they feeling right now. So all the other members for sending the emojis, thank you so much. I see all the happy faces and satisfied faces. Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Now, the last thing here is, what's that one thing you're grateful for today or for this week? Something has happened in this particular week or today that has really made your day. So you can tell me in the chat, what is that thing you're grateful for? Okay, all the other members who are mentioning that they have not received the certificate, so we would send out the certificates of the previous webinar also to you. So if you are a member of your community, you would get instant notification. So if you're still not the member, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the chat, the WhatsApp link in the chat. So please join the WhatsApp community, and then where we not only just ask you to join our next webinars, but we also share resources, certificates, and the recorded video of this particular webinar. We upload it on YouTube and send out the link in the community. And apart from that, we ask some certain other things to keep you engaged. So if you want to be part of a community, you would not only get the notifications of the upcoming webinars, but also the resources. Like last time, we have sent out the video compilation, the document of all the videos embedded into the document. So if you have the document, you click on that, and then you get the whole series of the videos we conducted in the previous 1.5 month. All right. Now I'm actually asking this. Somebody said happy. Okay. Anything that you think of, okay, that you're grateful for today or for this week? I'm grateful for this particular webinar. You know, I'm spending this 1 hour time with you, trying to learn something from you and sharing some insights with you. So I'm grateful for this particular opportunity that I'm alive and I'm here, I'm talking to you and conducting this webinar. So in the coming minutes, if you have something to share with me, that is when I get to learn something from you as well. So I'm looking forward for that opportunity. Okay, now let's do one thing, move to the next part of the session. So I'm going to show you what impact you have made so far. Enthusiastic. Okay, what impact we have made so far. Like I said, in the last 1.5 months, 2 months, with consistency, we have been conducting these webinars. And thank you so much, people, for joining us for the second time, for the third time, for the fifth time. Also, there are people who I don't know, but they must be joining today for the fifth time. So you see how beautiful the country looks. So we have educators, okay, who are part of our community and who have joined us over the period of time from 30 cities, 7 different countries, and 14 states. So this is I mean, a moment where I really want to thank everybody for believing in our work and looking forward to our sessions and joining our webinars over and over again. So without your help, without your support, we wouldn't have made this impact in just span of, let's say, 1.5, 2 months. So we definitely want to go to to the next level where we want to, like, not just 30 cities, it could be like 100 cities, or maybe like 25, 30, 50 countries and different states. So yeah, thank you so much for making us like do this. Now I am going to ask a little bit of information from you so that the coming slides are going to help you understand what you can do to transform the classroom into the learning environment. Okay, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, please tell me. Okay, thank you everybody for saying that. Okay, I'm seeing the messages, lovely messages. Thank you so much. Now, please use the chat to please tell me what is the board of your organization, your school. Is it a CBSE school, an IGCSE school, an IB school, state board school, ICSC, or any other thing? I see there are there are people who are joining from different countries. So I would want to understand the background of your institution, you're joining us from. So I see a lot of CBSE, I guess 100%. I'm seeing all CBSE schools. Any other organization, any other board that you have? IGCSE, IB, or maybe state board. Let's say there are people who are joining from Kerala, from Hyderabad, from other schools. So maybe it is an IGCSE. Yeah, I was just mentioning. Thank you, Mr. Satya, for saying that. And if you have any other board, let's say, I don't know, in your country, UAE, yes, we have CBSE schools, but there are people always, who join our webinars from like Zimbabwe, from Kenya. So we don't know what board do they have there. Okay, I guess it is 90% all CBSE schools and 10% it's IGCSE school. Now, the second thing, what you're going to do is, please tell me what is the strength of a classroom, one classroom, okay? The ideal classroom. I don't know how many, the strength you have at your place. So please use the chat to tell me. What is the class size? 45. Oh my God. Are you alone handling all the kids, or there are 2 teachers in your classroom? 20 to 25, 25 to 30, 40, 30, 30, 35, 25 to 30, 30. Is there anybody who has, let's say, 60, 70 students in the class? KV 40, 32, 35, 35. Okay. Mostly, it's somewhere around 25 to 30. And there are some classes, some schools that have, let's say, 35 and 40, 45 also. 30. Okay. If there is someone who would like to mention this in the chat, so please tell me. The first thing, if you have not responded to my first question, so please tell me the board of your institution and the strength of a classroom. I'm not asking the strength of all the classes combined, just one classroom. Okay. Now, the reason I ask this question is to understand the context of the school that you are working for and the ideal classroom size. Let's say I'm fixing it between somewhere around 30 and 35 or 40, 45. This is what many of you have mentioned. So now to transform that classroom into a learning environment, what are the things we need to keep in mind? So I'm going to show you in the coming slides so that you'd understand I'm going back to my class tomorrow or on Monday and what I need to do to change this classroom into an effective learning environment. If there are 45, 50, 60 students in the classroom, then based on the class size, we have to plan something differently and try to understand what would work and what would not work. Okay, because I don't want to give you strategies that will not be helping you in changing the classroom or maybe making some kind of modification in your class. So whatever I'm going to communicate right now in this session today, so probably a few things also if you want to implement. So I want that to happen with you, not just like giving you something which is not going to help you in your classes. Okay, all right. Now there is this first question. Please, you can use the chat to please tell me what makes students feel safe in a classroom. What do you think about this? You can type option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4. You don't have to type the whole text. So please tell me what do you think about this? What makes students feel safe in the classroom? Safe. The first option is clear rules and boundaries. Second option, kind and understanding teachers, peer support and friendship, a clean and organized classroom or space. Okay, if you want to say A, B, C, D also, it's totally up to you. So somebody said B, kind and understanding teachers, second option. I got only 2 responses. I need from all the members. How many do we have right now? We have 46 members. What do you think about this? What makes students feel safe in a classroom? Kind and understanding teachers. Yeah, somebody said C, peer support and friendship. All. Yeah, that's also a guess, Mr. Satya. Thank you. It can be all the above. Second one. So I guess 99% of the people who responded, they are saying the second option, kind and understanding teachers. All right. Like Mr. Satya just mentioned, it could be all the above, but we need to remember one thing. All options contribute to safety, not just one. Everything contributes to safety, okay? But kind and understanding teachers is often the foundation for a safe classroom, okay? So it's important for a teacher to be kind and understanding. If you see from the social emotional learning aspects also, because we conducted the webinars previously on social emotional learning and how social emotional learning helps and contributes to the effective learning environment. So teacher has to be empathetic, understanding, kind, caring to the learners. That's the first step. That's a foundation to start building the learning environment. Okay. If the teacher is not kind and understanding, whatever the teacher does in the class, there will be always some students who will be left out. Okay, they might not feel safe to talk to teacher about anything, and that is when they slowly gradually fall behind, and the classroom cannot be transformed into a learning environment. Thank you for guessing that. Now the second thing, what might make a student feel left out in the class? Please use the chat, tell me option A, B, C, D. Language barriers, communication and language barrier, not just from the teacher side, but sometimes the students who are coming from different backgrounds, they might not be fluent in the language. So I say something, they don't understand it fully. Language barrier. Is it because of that they feel left out? Physical inaccessibility. Okay, the desk and the material, the way you arrange the furniture, the chair, the benches, everything in the room. There are 45, 50 students in my class, and the class is small. So it's like cluttered space in the room. Being ignored or not called on. So nobody is asking them, nobody is bothering them, nobody is asking them to like respond, answer questions. Is that the thing? Not seeing themselves reflected in the lessons. They cannot see themselves, or participate in the lesson. They cannot actively participate because there are no opportunities. Okay, teacher does not provide them that opportunity where they can feel, yeah, I have to be part of this. Okay, thank you everybody for saying the option C and all. I see there are a lot of people who are saying C and all the other options. So let's see, language barrier and not seeing themselves reflected in lessons are especially impactful. So because of these two primary reasons, they feel I cannot be part of this, okay, or they feel left out. Okay, there could be communication or the language concern. The instructions are not communicated properly or they are not understanding. Okay, there is a two-way problem. Okay, so that is the reason why we always say you have to communicate to the students in a way they understand. Okay, age appropriate communication. If you are there in class 1 and you're talking to them as if you're in class 10, they are not going to understand your instructions. Similarly, when you are in class 10, okay, you cannot talk to them as if you're in class 2 or class 3. They will start making fun of the teacher, right? So wherever we are, in whichever classroom we are, age appropriate communication and the choice of words that we always use. So based on that, students, they get to feel, yes, I understand this, now I have to participate in this particular activity. And also not seeing themselves reflected because the lesson or the activity cannot appeal to them. That is why they don't feel like I don't have to participate. Okay, that's something. All right, thank you for the guesses. Thank you for the responses. And then now the last question, how can we show students that their ideas are valued? What is that way we can use to show that you, my dear student, you are valued? You are a valuable member of the classroom. Listening carefully and giving feedback, encouraging students to share in classroom, displaying their work in the classroom, celebrating their successes, either whatever it is, big or small, okay, celebrating their successes. Which one do you think will make them feel that they are valued? Yeah, people are saying all, somebody saying number 1, number 4. Okay. All. Okay. Should I lock it? Okay. Thank you so much for saying all options are right. But most important thing to understand and remember is listening carefully and giving feedback is fundamental. As something is actually fundamental, something is missing. Sorry for the typo. So that is fundamental. When the learners feel that they are actually, the teacher is actually listening to their ideas and listening carefully and listening to their suggestions and feedback, that is when they feel that I am valued in the classroom. Okay, so whatever activity we conduct in the class, either it's a group activity or a subject specific activity, whatever we do in the class, we have to make sure that we ask all the students and they respond to our questions and give suggestions also. So communication is always a two-way street. So not only they talk academic things, but also they sometimes give feedback also. If they're not learning, they're not understanding something, and they're saying, hey, this particular strategy is not helping, that opportunity should be given to the learners where they can freely talk and communicate that what is helping, what is not helping. Okay, so something, if it is not helping and they're talking to you, that is when you listen to them and respect that and come back to the classroom with a proper strategy, proper material, so that now they start feeling, yes, this particular thing is helping and teacher has implemented or maybe used my particular feedback, incorporated my feedback into this particular worksheet or the activity. So yes, somebody said, yeah. Thank you so much for saying that. Now I have a particular case study for all of you to read. So after reading this, you need to think and tell me in the chat, what do you feel about this? So this is case study number 1. So I have used anonymous name here. I mean, it's a non-fictitious name. So it's Miss Priya. If there is a member already whose name is Priya, so I'm really sorry. Please forgive me for using the name. It's just a name here. So Miss Priya, a teacher at a government school with limited resources, no proper resources, found creative ways to make her classroom welcoming and effective for her 50 students, not just 30, 35, 40, 50 students who come from different socio-economic backgrounds and have different learning needs. She worked with the students to rearrange the desks into clusters, different clusters, encouraging them to interact and learn together, talk to one another and talk, to make up for the lack of materials, she created a resource center. In the classroom itself, she made a resource center with handmade charts, flashcards, and the donated books by different people, giving students access to useful learning tools. That was the opportunity she created in the classroom. She also started a student of the week board to recognize acts like kindness and teamwork, motivating students to contribute positively. For students struggling with the language of instruction, the communication, the language of instruction, she paid them with the classmates who could help translate. Okay, you don't understand my instructions, so here is your friend who can help you simplify this. Okay, by using these activities like storytelling, drawing, and making the movements in the class moving around, she ensured every child could learn in a way that worked for them, creating an inclusive and supportive classroom despite the challenges. So this is what I read for you. Now, please tell me in the chat, what do you think about this? How do you see this? Is this a kind of learning environment that hello, everybody. Thank you so much for staying here. I got some technical problem at my end, so I got logged out and I'm back. Thank you for being here. I guess some of you have already read this. So please, now please tell me in the chat, what do you think about this? I was actually looking forward to your responses. Have you understood this particular situation, the case study? So there is a teacher who has ensured that every child in the classroom should learn and make use of available resources, even though it's a government school, government classroom. But based on whatever challenges she had, she ensured to arrange a resource center with whatever materials that were available, and also ensured that students, they learn from their friends, like peer learning and all that. And she tried her level best to support every child in the classroom. So how do you think, what do you think about this particular classroom? Is it an ideal learning classroom, or am I audible to all the members? Because I'm not seeing the responses now. Okay, thank you for saying. Just one person, or okay, this is the first case study. This is just first situation for you to understand. I'm going to show you the second one. Yes, thank you for saying that. Good initiative taken by the teacher to meet the needs of every child in a different way. True. Oh yeah, now I'm seeing the messages. Okay, so that's one particular teacher. Now I'm going to show you the second situation where there is another teacher, Mr. Ravi, a teacher at a private school with advanced resources. There are all types of resources available at that particular school, like smart boards or digital tools, missed opportunities to create an engaging and inclusive learning environment for his 30 students from affluent families, from well-to-do families. He insisted on traditional seating arrangements, like in rows, okay, how the normal traditional sitting arrangement would be, which discouraged group work and movement, limiting collaboration among students. Despite having access to modern tools, he relied only on textbooks and lectures, leaving the available resources underutilized. Classroom rules were imposed without involving students, making them feel excluded and disconnected. When students suggested making lessons more interactive, he dismissed their feedback, considering it unnecessary. The classroom environment focused solely on academic results, offering the little room for creativity or emotional safety. Struggling students received no additional support, leaving them to cope up on their own and creating a sense of isolation in what could have been a thriving and supportive learning space. So this is the second case study. So now we have the difference between the first teacher and the second teacher. So if you have understood both the case studies, both the situations, the scenarios, let me know in the chat which one do you think, the first one or the second one, is the ideal learning environment, the perfect learning environment. The first one or the second one? The first one is ideal. The first one. First one. I am getting the responses only from few members. All the other members, please use the chat to let me know. Yeah, first one. The first one, the teacher at a government school with limited resources, but she ensured every child in the classroom should learn, and she arranged whatever resources available, okay, as per her capability, and she ensured to move around, make the peer learning happening in the class, and she cared for all the students. Now there is another situation where there is a person, there is a teacher who has all types of resources, digital tools, resources, and everything, but failed to create that kind of an environment. And the teacher, the primary mistake was he only focused on the traditional setting. He believed, I do not want to create this kind of environment, whatever is traditional, and I'll follow that. So I'm asking you another question. If you want to create a kind of learning environment in your classroom, in your school, what would you do? You would go for the first option, what the first teacher did, or the second one? What kind of a learning environment you would prefer at your school, in your classes? You can let me know in the chat quickly, everybody. The first one. The first type. Okay, first one. Okay. How many? We have 48 members. Okay. Obviously, when you understand and compare both the situations, you would also believe that if I want to transform my classroom into a learning environment, what I would need to do, and the situation, the scenario that I would want at my school and my classroom. So now moving to the next part, whatever you have seen there, the summary is over here. The success of any learning environment, wherever you are in Dubai or India or Bangalore or Hyderabad, if you want to have that success in that learning environment, it primarily depends on the teacher. The teacher comes first. It is the responsibility of a teacher, because I have shown you two examples of different teachers, right? The first teacher, even though there are limited resources, but she ensured what I need to be doing to transform this classroom into a learning environment. But there's another teacher with all available resources, but the teacher did not decide to transform that environment into a learning environment, that classroom into a learning environment. So the first responsibility is of the teachers, then comes the students, then comes the school leaders and the parents. So parents are also, they should also come forward to contribute to the school. Whatever support that is required from the parents that the school needs to reach out to the parents, the teachers need to reach out to the parents, ask them to collaborate with the school, with the teacher, and ensure whatever is happening in the class, everybody is equally playing their important role in it. So for this particular matter, we also conducted another session previously, which was all about parent teacher collaboration. So you would definitely get the link of that video where you can understand what way, you can collaborate with the parents. Now I'm showing you something. Just look at this particular picture. I'm showing this picture to you to look at every single detail. I'm not going to ask you to mention every single thing, okay, whatever you see, because there are people who are actively like responding in the chat. Thank you so much for doing that. So what you are going to do is, whatever you see, you just mention it. I will only read every new word. Okay, I will not read the repeated words. Whatever you see, okay, every minor, basic small detail that you see on the screen, please use the chat and tell me, what do you see in this picture? Is this a classroom? You can say this is not a classroom, this is something else. I would respect that as well. Okay, first person who said bookmarks, colored pens. Okay, what else do you find? And let me tell you, this is the picture is of a classroom. Okay, and this is a real picture. In my whole presentation, I have only used the vector images and the other types of images, but this is a real picture taken from a real classroom. So what all do you see? Yes, people are saying notice board, fun activity room, recreational activity room. Okay, bullet board, chairs. I will only read every new word. So if you are mentioning the same thing, is or maybe you see the group setting is like open to everybody. So what other person has not mentioned, you can mention them. Books, yes. Alphabets, okay. Group wise tables, yes. Activity room, yes. This is an activity room. That's it. There's no other thing inside in this room. Just few couple of things you mentioned. Materials are easily accessible, yes. All those materials, whatever the students need for, let's say, teaching, learning, and drawing, coloring, anything part of, yeah. Now people are saying books on the bookshelf, yes. Whiteboard, desk chair, yes. I think there are 100, 200 things in this picture, right? So like somebody in general, you said all the materials are accessible to the learner. That is one thing we need to ensure in the class. So whatever materials we make and keep in the class, everything should be accessible to all the learners. Pictures on the wall, yes. Charts. I see there are only few members mentioning, and I understand the other members not participating. So I'm asking you to please do that, so that it will also give me that motivation. Okay, yeah, there are people, like there are 48 members and they are actively responding to the messages. Sight words for reading, yes. Or is it a feeling? Yeah, I don't want to respond, I don't want to type in the chat. Okay, you love the arrangement. I love the arrangement too. Stationery, pencil stand, books. All right, there are so many things. You see pen stand, there are chairs, there are tables, there are these chairs, I mean, chairs stacked properly. There are these box files, there are different sight words. Okay, there are so many things, right? So if you see, in many schools these days, they're trying to keep this kind of an environment in the class. And when I'm telling this to you, I'm not meaning to say that every classroom should exactly look like this, because you have a CBSE school, you are coming from a state board school and IGCSE school, the classroom, the walls, uh, because you have 30 students, 40 students, it depends on the size of the class, what you need to ensure to keep in the class as a resource. Okay, everything matters. So for that to understand, we are going to break it down further. So yes, thank you everybody for saying. I'm seeing, yes, there are lighting, there is proper lighting also, which is also really important. Good learning ambience, change environments matter. Yes, absolutely. So there are three aspects which we need to keep in mind before we want to change our classroom. Okay, like I said, your classroom, there are 40 students and the space is not that much. Okay, so that you can keep everything that you saw, or maybe few of the things that you saw just before, to bring everything into your classroom. Okay, it could be impossible, okay, because a lot of things have to be moved out of the room, so to make some space. So whatever situation you have right now in your class, First thing you need to understand is how is the physical setting. Okay, that is the very first aspect of a learning environment. The second thing is emotional setting. So majority of the times, most of the times what we do is we just focus mainly on the physical setting. Like in the previous image you saw, everything, is arranged. A physical environment, I would give 10 out of 10. Okay, everything is there, the physical setting. Okay, but what about the emotional setting? The learners, when they come to the school every day, what are the things that we keep in the classroom to do some emotional check-in, or the classroom activities that we conduct, the group activities? How are we ensuring that the activities in the classroom are helping every learner in the class to come forward and talk? I mean, there is no room for criticism, there is no room for judgment. Nobody is telling them anything that makes them feel emotionally drowned. Okay, so everything, the emotional setting, how is the environment in your classroom? A teacher standing in the classroom criticizing and commenting, instead of giving constructive feedback, she's like, talking things. So that will definitely make the learner feel, unsafe in the class, insecure. Okay, so how are the transactions in the classroom happening that are making them emotionally strong? And the third important aspect of a learning environment is the academic setting. The room, whether you are just teaching math, science, English, all the subjects, and are you ensuring that there are other learning materials, the subject specific materials also? So what are we doing in the class to ensure that learners, after learning maths from me, there are few things kept so that they can quickly grab them, use them, keep them back, okay, to support their academic knowledge, whatever you say, strengthen that, and something more. So the first thing to make that kind of an environment, okay, the three things: the first thing, the physical setting, the emotional setting, and also the academic setting. The first thing, we need to design it. I'm not just making this up or telling from my side. There are research papers published that say, when you try to change or transform the learning environment, the classroom, into a positive and engaging learning environment, you need to start with understanding their learning style, their preferences, their motivation, and their interests also. Okay, if you do not do that, maybe you will bring all the other materials, but how do you check whether this particular material is helping visual learners, kinesthetic learners, and auditory learners? Okay, when we do not do that, that is when we miss out and the gap starts building up. So the first thing, the first thing to do in our approach is understand what type of learner they are. Are they visual learners, or they kinesthetic learners, or they're auditory learners? Okay, the second thing is provide a variety of options. Most of the times, we go to the class to teach with one option, with few worksheets. Okay, and those worksheets are only to help them academically, reinforce, strengthen the concept. Okay, what about the other things? It's just one strategy I'm using for all the learners in the class, which is not going to help me transform that classroom into a learning environment. The next thing is set up a resource corner. You see, I have just kept specifically one particular space. So when you look at the previous image, which I asked you to carefully look and tell me what are the things you find there. So you saw so many things, okay, because it's a spacious room, okay, where there could be like 12, 15, or 20 students, a big room, and you have that one particular corner. Now in your classroom, when there are 35 or 40 learners and you say there is no space left or little space, okay, so please remember, if there is one particular drawer or one small table where you can stack up everything and keep all the stuff, at least, like visuals or charts or anything, so that they can take them, read them, and keep them back. If starting with that itself, that could be a great step towards changing the classroom environment into a productive and effective learning environment. So sometimes, what we think of so many things. Like when I want to transform or have this kind of a transformation in my classroom, I need to have these many requirements, like these many things to keep and bring in my room. Okay, but what we need to do is at least start with few things. Do not bring 10, 15, 20 things all at once and think, when I bring everything like this, that is when I'm going to change everything. No, That will take time because it will require cost, it will require maintenance, it requires other things also. There are so many logistics behind. But starting with at least carrying a storybook, if you are an English teacher, storybooks, 2 or 3, or some flashcards, something, keeping in the room and ensuring that the learners keep them safe. Okay. Like we have classroom monitors, different roles and duties we give to the learners. There could be one student who has to ensure that everything is kept in the room is safe. Okay. That's one particular way you can handle that. But a small thing you carry to the class, and gradually there are other teachers who are also adding something to that, and you also next month you're adding something more to that. Gradually things will grow and you see the change happening in the class. You really want to develop the reading skills of the learners, but there are no storybooks in the classroom, and you're only teaching them whatever reading comprehension or reading development skills only from the English book, the subject book. Do you think it's going to help them in any way? And if you want to have that kind of an impact or change, okay, in a short span of time, you're not going to achieve that. If you really want to develop their reading skills, reading comprehension, whenever they read some story they understand, you have to provide them some books in the classroom, some storybook, something you have to keep in there. And when there is a library period or maybe sometime they are free, we are constantly encouraging them, please open this and read. So if they're doing it, you're seeing that, that is when you see the change happening in the classes. Do you agree with me? If you agree with me, say yes in the chat. If you agree that when we have a few things kept, which we target specifically to develop one aspect, okay, that would definitely help over a period of time. Okay, not immediately, we always want things to happen immediately and instantly. Yes, thank you so much for saying, everybody. Okay, so we always want things instantly, like in 5 minutes we want our Blinkit order, 10 minutes we want our Zomato order, and a couple of minutes more we want Amazon delivery in a day. We want instant gratification, we want instant things to happen, in instant change. So when we target the behavior change among the learners, that is when you need to give them some time and space. Okay, if you are, let's say, if you are willing to improve their reading skills and you have brought some books, or encourage the parents and students also to buy some books, story books, which are like not 50 rupees or 100 rupees, read them over a period of time. Ask, what is this word? Okay, how to pronounce this? Over a period of time, when we start this, gradually you see the change happening and the learners will definitely develop their skills. Yes, thank you everybody for saying that. Now I'm going to show you the 5 signs of a best learning environment. Okay, a learning environment where students believe in their ability to succeed and take on challenges. They feel confident. Okay, they believe in their ability with whatever activity you're doing in the class. Okay, the setting, the emotional setting, and everything. All 3 things are included in this. Okay, all the aspects. The second thing, students collaborate effectively, respect diverse opinions, and work well in teams. Because there is no room for judgment, there is no room for criticism. Okay, even if they want to give feedback, they give constructive feedback. Okay, that is when they start collaborating effectively and respect others as well. Students feel comfortable expressing themselves without fear of judgment or criticism. They will not feel any harm or any kind of fear if I say something which is actually a fact or maybe true. So people are not going to judge me. My students in the classroom, they are not going to make fun of me. Okay, so they feel comfortable. That's from the emotional side. Students eagerly participate in discussions, ask questions, and apply knowledge to real world problems. So this is also the one characteristics of an environment. Students exhibit enthusiasm and a genuine love for attending school and participating in activities. So I am sure you must be having these scenarios at your school as well. When we start teaching learners as per their learning styles and the environment, the activities, the opportunities we are providing in the classroom, when they feel everything that you see on the screen, they also demonstrate enthusiasm, a great deal of enthusiasm to come to school every day. So maybe if sometimes, even if they are sick, okay, they still want to go to school. They don't want to be at home. I will go to school because I love this. I love this particular teacher. Okay. And I love the way she teaches, the way she recognizes me, the way she, teaches all of us. She cares for me. Okay. Have you ever experienced something like this where, yeah. Have you ever experienced something like this where the student came to you and said, ma'am, I only want to come to school because of you, because you teach me really well, you understand me, you care for me. I'm sure many of you would definitely say yes. There are situations where students come and express their feelings. Now, what are the 5 signs of worst learning environment? The kind of environment we should never think of, never want. Students feel constant pressure to perform and feel fear of failure. Okay, they need to do something about it. A lot of pressure. Okay, for all the subjects or some specific subjects. Students hesitate to share their thoughts or make mistakes due to ridicule or harsh sarcasm. They are afraid to say something, or they feel, how can I say this? If I say this, my friends are going to make fun of me. Okay, students doubt their abilities, believing they are not good enough compared to their peers. They start doubting themselves because whatever the opportunity or the thing is going on in the class, that environment, is the worst environment for them. Grades and participation drop as students disengage from the lessons they find irrelevant and unrelatable. And students show little to no interest in asking questions or exploring topics beyond the curriculum. They don't just ask anything. If you agree with all these 5 scenarios and situations, that these situations and scenarios, okay, happen in a worst learning environment, students emotionally, academically, and they always try to shy away from all the opportunities that you provide, and they do not participate. Please tell me in the chat that these are the worst scenarios that a classroom should never have, or any learning environment should not have these things, these scenarios. Yeah, thank you. Okay, now we are moving towards the last part of the session. I'll quickly finish few things since there was some technical glitch from my end. So now the first thing, if you want to set up a perfect or the kind of environment that you want at your school, so organize the physical space properly. And there are a few couple of questions that I've kept here. Whatever the type of seating arrangement you have, I'm not recommending to you to have this type of seating arrangement in your classes. It can be in any way you want. So that's just an example. So what type of seating arrangement best support the learning objectives? Does the seating arrangement contribute to successful learning outcomes? So we need to constantly, keep asking this question. Okay, the seating arrangement that I'm having right now in my class, is it contributing to the learning objectives? Is it supporting the learning objectives, the activity that you have? The first thing, organize a physical space. Second thing is arrange the learning zones. Are the activities and materials in each zone aligned with the learning goals? Whatever materials you have kept, are they aligned with the learning goals? You are teaching maths and one particular subject topic, but the materials you have kept, those materials are of last previous 2 lessons. Okay, so they cannot use them to reinforce the learning. So we need to constantly refresh and update whatever materials we are providing in the class. Are students able to choose zones that match their interest and learning needs? So I'm not saying that you need to have all subject zones for each subject in the class, but whatever you arrange, if there is a small one particular corner where you have kept everything, so is it helping the learners, or is it reinforcing in their learning, reinforcing the learning or not? Now, the second important thing to set up the learning environment, see, this is completely based on the auditory learners, the kinesthetic learners, and visual learners. Okay. You see here, we need to have a lot of visuals. Previously, when I studied at a state board school, where we used to fill all the 4 walls with a lot of charts, everything, which would be there for the whole year. Nobody changed. So if that's the thing, then it's not going to help any one of us. We need to change, we need to update them on a regular basis, but importantly, there should be visuals. Are the charts visually appealing? Okay, and easy for the students to read and understand. So this is another important thing. If you arrange a chart and you write very tiny little script, there is a very little script. So the problem is the chart is far away from me and I'm sitting here, and you want me to recall the information, the points that I have learned, and this is a difficulty. I'm sitting far away and the text is so small, I cannot read from here and recall. And second mistake, there is a chart and it is full of text, the paragraphs. Okay, so what's the point of having a chart in the classroom with the paragraphs on it? What do you want the learners to look at? Do you want them to read the whole paragraph far from sitting from that place? No. So we need to remember whatever materials or visuals we keep in the class, are they readable from far? The text, and a lot of text is also a problem. Okay, keep just the keywords. When I look at the keyword, I can easily recall. We are not supposed to fill the whole chart with a lot of text, and that is difficult to like recall and remember anything. Are the charts place where all the students can easily see and use them? Okay, the chart, this is also age appropriate factor here. So if you are in grade 3 and you are keeping the chart so like literally on top, so it is difficult for them even to like lift their head up and see. It's difficult. Okay, looking at that and all. So whatever we have with that particular dimension, we need to keep all the resources and visuals like easily readable, easily located that way. Now the next thing is the student work displays. Whatever we do in the classroom, we need to display the students' work and we need to update on a regular basis, not just in the class, but it can be outside the class also. Okay, is the work of all students, including those with varying abilities, represented on the display. Normally what happens when we display their work, they feel happy about it. Okay, and even if it is a small artwork, we are displaying it on the board, it would definitely make them happy. Are the displays designed to celebrate effort and creativity and growth, not just academic excellence? So yeah, we'll be finishing this session in couple of minutes. Thank you so much for like from 6 p.m. till 7 now you are here. So I understand, yes, you must be having your own priorities and other engagements, but in another 5-10 minutes, we'll finish this, as we are towards the end of this webinar. Okay, making resources accessible. Yes, the third point, whatever resources we arrange in the classroom, we have to make sure the students can easily pick them, use them, and keep them back. Not somewhere like they have to be taller enough to reach out, take, and then keep back. No, as per the learner's age group, whatever resources we keep in the class, everything should be accessible and they can use them and keep them back anytime. And importantly, subject-specific resources also are important. Whatever subjects and concepts we teach, if we have those learning materials to support that concept in the subject, so that would definitely help and add a lot of value to the environment. Now, the next important thing is positive and inclusive routines. Whatever routines we have in the class, not just, students coming to the classroom and going back every time. So emotional check-in, and there are so many other things that you can do, and these can be a part of their regular thing. Classroom rules together. Whenever you make the classroom rules, a basic thing in the beginning of the year is we need to discuss those rules with the learners, and they also come forward and say, this is what we agree, this is what we cannot agree. Okay, we have to respect that, and they also have to respect whatever you, as part of, like, you are the mentor and the guide and the facilitator. So whatever you tell, they have to, like, mutually you are discussing the rules and coming to some conclusion, and they are like following them throughout the year, and how consistently you are reminding them of the rules. Okay, so that they remember, oh yeah, this is what we agreed upon, so let's stop this whatever we are doing right now, and then let's go back to whatever we agreed. Okay, there has to be the consistency also, where we remind them. Now on your screen, I'm showing some subject specific resources, the materials which you can make and keep in the class. So I'm not going to read everything that you see. So especially, if you are teaching English, let's say from grade 1 to 3, foundational skills, basically from grade 4 to 8, language and literature, that is when they learn a little bit complex facts and things about the language. And in higher grades, it's more advanced. So these are the materials which your school can also buy. Even you can also find few things on Amazon or any other e-commerce portal you have in your country. So when we carry these few things in the class and keep them, and if you think that the classroom does not have that much space, maybe you can keep them with you in your staff room, in with on your desk, anywhere you sit. So when you are going to teach the class, use them as flashcards or resources. Teach them, make them touch it, feel it, use it, and give it back to you. Okay. So this is all about English. Now from mathematics, you have basic level and the problem solving and application in the middle years and advanced level. What are the things we can arrange in the classes? Okay. So if you say from numeracy, the little foundational skills, you have counting blocks, number charts. Okay, because you're teaching numbers, there is a number chart, so that if they forget sometimes, they can look at it, recall, and remember. Shapes and geometry kits, flashcards, and games and puzzles. And yeah, sorry, this is not a maths. I forgot to edit this. This is science actually. Let me correct it here. Okay. So in science, you see, these are the things that can be arranged in the class. If a few things cannot be arranged in the class, let's say you have a science lab where you can keep these materials once in a month or once in a week, wherever you have science lab activity, taking them to the science lab and showing them everything. So that will also help. But in the class itself, if you have some observation kits like magnifying glass and like basic things in the class, these things can be easily arranged. So yes, we are towards the end now. We have 45 members. So if you are not yet the part of our community, like many of you asked me in the beginning, okay, you have not received the certificate or the webinar recording. So what you're going to do is I'm sharing this webinar, WhatsApp link in the chat. So please use the link and join our WhatsApp community where we have nearly 200 plus, 200 plus members who are actively, engaging in all the posts that we share in the group, and also like yes. So please use this link and join our WhatsApp community. A few things that we regularly share is we ask certain things in the group, and we share the webinar certificates, also the webinar recording, and also the post of the upcoming webinars. Okay, so you would stay updated with whatever we are doing right now. So you would also get the link of the previous webinar also, where whatever webinars you have missed. So I know there are a few members who have joined for the first time and members who have joined for the second time. So you get the recording of the previous ones, and whatever topic we chose for that particular Saturday last webinar, you will get the recording and you will go through everything that we have shown. So you will not miss out on anything. And also we would be sharing the post of the next webinar, so you can also register and join us again. Now it's time for you to ask me anything or any clarification, or if you want to give feedback also, you can. So please turn on your microphone. Even if you want to turn on your video camera also, you can, and we can have some interaction. And other members, if it is too late for you and you have other obligations, so we can say goodbye at this moment also. But if you want to like share something or discuss, you can definitely do that. So when you join our WhatsApp community, you will have access to such resources, and like a few months, we have shared these resources previously. So these are like charts that you can keep in your class, the worksheet which you can download, print them, and use for your classes, and a lot of other things. Thank you. I am looking forward to hear some feedback. So please turn on your microphone, video camera if you want, so you can talk to us. Without realizing the three aspects of a classroom: the physical setting, the emotional setting, and also the academic setting, and what kind of resources and materials we need to keep for every type of learner. Okay, like I mentioned before, there is a proper research that says if you want to transform that classroom into a learning environment, you need to start first with understanding the type of learner they are. And whatever subjects you are teaching, English, math, science, subject specific, these are the materials, like I mentioned. You can anytime, carry few. Like I said, do not think or plan to carry everything to the class at just one go itself. Carry few things, then gradually you increase. That's how you contribute to their to your environment, also to the learning environment. Can anyone turn on the video camera and also unmute yourself and communicate your feedback, or maybe ask anything? I'm open to receive the feedback because I will be here for another 10-15 minutes, so this is the opportunity for you to discuss anything with me.
Yeah, good evening, sir. This is Ekta this side.
Ekta ma'am, thank you so much. Can you turn on your video
Yeah.
camera if possible?
Yeah, for sure, I will. Yeah, am I visible now?
Yes, ma'am. Clearly.
Yeah, it is a pleasure. Actually, I think I must say a big thank you to you. It is a pleasure listening for the last 1 hour. I really had a good time, good learning, definitely, because myself, I'm a trainer and a counselor. So, a learner, I must say, a big learner as well. Each day is a learning. And definitely, when we listen to people like you, it's definitely we get to know each and every environment we talk about from various parts. The learners are here today. And I think it was a good learning experience for each one of us. So,
Thank,
from each one, and I'll say a big thank you to you. It was an
thank,
insightful session and it was great learning. Actually, we got to know a number of practical approaches, which we all look forward for actually.
thank you so much, ma'am. Like you mentioned,
Thank you
you.
so very much to you as well, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. It's a pleasure. So we would be conducting our webinars. Like I said, we conduct our webinars on a regular basis. So we would be looking forward to your participation, in the coming webinars also.
For
And
sure,
the
sir. I was there in the previous webinar as well. So this was my second part out there. I was on a second webinar for me. So
other,
definitely it's a learning, sir. It's a learning, and that's how we look forward for these webinars. And Sunday is a webinar day for us. Saturdays rather is a webinar day for us now.
yes, ma'am. You can block all Saturdays for us, because we consistently, conduct webinars on all Saturdays.
Thank
Okay.
you once again, sir. Thank you once again.
And the other thing, like you are mentioning, you attributed yourself as a learner. So I also believe in that, and I also attribute myself as a learner. So I believe even if I'm joining this I have conducted this webinar, but I have learned something from people like, and also, I always look forward to the opportunities where I can learn something because I also consider myself as a learner. So it was nice listening to you. And yeah, someone else, Sheila, you have raised your hand. You can unmute yourself, turn on your camera if you want, and you can, yes.
Okay, thank you, Sam. Thank you. I really enjoyed your webinars. Thank you very much. They are very informative. However, I'm a bit skeptical on the level of the students. Like we are looking at learners at high school, is it? If they are for high school, I was looking at the learning materials, like what we had on those charts on in that what we have given us as example. So I was looking at like having a corner, a learning corner where you have, we also have some learning materials on the wall charts and the like. So I'm a bit worried looking at my level of my students. My
Yes.
students are in high school, and when you look at high school level, they are no more like interested in those charts, but more on experimental using their laptops. They are more on the research side.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit worried on the content Yes. And the other thing is on my certificates, I only received one certificate, but I've
Yeah.
attended, if you go back to your records, I've attended, it's now my fourth one. I started on the 26th of October. And
October.
from there, I never webinars.
Okay.
So I only received one certificate. Thank you.
Okay, I'll do one thing. I have noted this, and all the certificates that we would send you the certificates over the email also. So the sessions you have participated, maybe we missed while we were marking the attendance and the participation of the different members. So yeah, I have noted this, and I'll definitely help you out.
Okay, thank
So can
you.
you tell me and all the other members where you are joining us from? You're joining us from Kenya or Zimbabwe? Which country you're joining us from? Yeah, please go ahead, Mr. Sheila.
It's an old hand, sorry, it's an old hand.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you so much. So any other member who would like to use this opportunity to clarify anything or ask anything, or if you're looking forward to our help where we can support you in transforming your environment into a learning environment with whatever strategies, tools that you have seen on the screen today. So you can reach out to us personally also. We would listen to that and understand what requirements you have, and based on the requirements we will support you and help you in transforming everything in your classes.
Oh, say, just a short one.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, also wanted to ask, there is this issue of micro credentials. I don't know whether you know about it, micro credentials.
Okay. I've heard about that.
I wanted to ask you, see, since we are having certificates on almost every webinar, that is, if I get a certificate,
Yes.
can they accumulate to a certain level, like getting a certificate or a diploma or what, in terms of micro credentials? Because these ones are just certificates of attendance.
Yes.
Now considering the issue of micro credentials, whereby one can build onto his or her credentials using these webinars, do we have, by any chance, having to upgrade these certificates to something like a certificate in?
So based on this,
Do we
I
have
would.
that?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking that. I really appreciate it. So we are actually planning something like that. It's in the pipeline, and we will definitely give you the details soon. So since you have joined us for the second time, third time, for a number of times, we are actually trying to, recognize the people who are actively participating, not just for the first time, but every time, they are there spending this 1.5 hour on every Saturday with us. So there are plans to recognize and appreciate. And apart from that, what you have mentioned, there are some things as well. So we would definitely reach out to you, and we will announce that also in our WhatsApp community. If you are not the member yet, so please join our WhatsApp community. I shared the link just a couple of minutes ago. So please join our community, and you will have access to the information right away. I mean, whenever we share the information. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Pleasure. Anyone else who would like to say anything? I see there are still 32 members. Okay, we'll wait for another 2-3 minutes and then we'll end the session. Till then, if you have anything to say, anything to ask, you can ask me.